Hello and welcome back to Conversations with Sharyn and Rosa. I am Rosa.
And I'm Sharyn.
And if you are first time, tuning in, we thank you. If you like what you hear, like what you see, please don't forget to subscribe, leave your comments, your questions, anything that you want us to know. Also, for those who have been tuning in, thank you, thank you, thank you, and welcome back. So today's episode of Conversations with Sharyn and Rosa is meeting her parents when no one wants to meet you.
Oh, say that one again.
They heard it. Meeting her parents when no one wants to meet you. So we're just gonna give you a little bit of how that plays in our lives. And again, we are not professionals. We don't claim to be professionals. We are professionals in our own lives. So we can only give you what we know from experience.
Yes.
And most of the things that we talk about are from experience. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you. And also, just before we jump into that, I just want to address a question that was asked last week. Someone wanted to know where we were filming from. They saw, I guess, the back mural that we have, and we're just here in our own backyard. So yeah, didn't go anywhere, here in San Diego.
We're not in Italy. We're not in a wine cellar.
Although I wish I was back in Italy, but yeah, we're just in our own backyard. But thank you for that question. And yeah, so meeting her parents when no one wants to meet you.
Ooh, so how many out there, how many of you guys can really relate to that? Because let's just, put it on the table. Every relationship is different. It just is. The dynamics are different. What you bring to the table, what she brings to the table, all of her experiences, and whatever is normal for her. So you bring who you are to what you do. And if you're in a relationship with a person, and the relationship can just definitely be rocking from all four corners. But how about when it's time to meet the family? Some of us are out partially. Some of us are out to one of our aunties and cousins, but not to don't tell mama. And believe me, your parents already know. They just don't want to talk about it, or you have failed perhaps to have the courage. Some of us are totally so out that we can never go back in again. That would be me. That would be Rosa. But for us that's out there who really, you found that wonderful partner and everything is just wonderful, and the two of you have this wonderful relationship. But here's the but. My mama don't know, or my mama does know. My mama know, but daddy don't. Daddy know, but mama don't. Mm-hmm. And he's a pastor in the church, and don't you come in here with that? And I didn't raise you to be like that. Those are true dynamics out there. Not in all of our relationships, but some of them. So here it is, one-on-one. You and Sweetie Pie, you guys are great. Now there's a dynamic of you, her, and her family. You, her, and your family. So here's some simple questions. How do you guys celebrate your holidays?
Yeah.
Is she invited? How about this? It's Christmas and I don't want to meet that woman you've been seeing.
Or she comes to, the holidays as your best friend, just your neighbor, your roommate, whomever that is. I mean, how does that look as well?
Right. And have you really explained? I mean, are you even out? Because that dictates how out the relationship may very well be.
Yeah.
There's some people who are only gay January through April. Okay, or they only gay when Pride comes to town.
Absolutely.
So normal. So again, the holidays, special occasions. Oh, I gotta have 2 dinners. Why? Because I gotta be with my parents, and then I gotta be with you. Some of those things, that gets complicated.
Yeah, or you just maybe dating someone that you don't find is worthy of meeting your parents.
Yet.
So yet. Well,
Yet.
I don't know about. It may not ever happen. I don't know. I mean, that, is depending on your situation. For us,
Ooh. Do we need to talk about us already? Ooh.
Yeah. Well, my situation is a little different because I have 2 sets of parents. And Sharyn met both sets of my parents. And,
Because I'm lucky like that.
And I must say that I'm not sure if they were ready to meet her. They welcomed her.
Wait a minute. Well, let's back up a little bit. First of all, everyone knows you're gay.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. My parents know
Everyone
I'm
knows. The
gay.
family knows. So that's not the issue.
Yeah.
Everyone knows and your family
Well,
knows.
it wasn't an issue when they were meeting you. It was an issue, but that's a whole nother topic.
Right.
It just wasn't an issue when it was time for Sharon to meet my parents because we were married for how long?
About
by
a
then?
year, 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, just about 2 years.
We had been married, almost 2 years. She had spoken to him on the phone, send Christmas gifts back and forth, but never really met them. Yeah, it was a year. It was a year.
Yeah.
So
I got
yeah,
to
you
meet
want to
both
explain?
sets, and
Yeah.
interesting. A little bit more about me. Like I say, I'm a lifelong lesbian. Been gay all my life. Been getting actively gay for 50 years. So I am not new to the rodeo. I have met my woman's mama before. So, but this is different because Rosa and I are married. I'm at a different time in my life. We're raising, her two children. So a lot's going on. So we are a family. And they had heard of me. They've seen pictures of me. They've chatted with me on the phone, but they had not met me. So that's a whole different thing. Plus, we were at a special occasion. Rosa's younger brother was getting married in D.C., and we went there. So I think things went remarkably well. I think they were gracious, polite, welcoming, and I genuinely liked him. I liked her dad even more because he's that kind of guy who's never met a stranger. Hey, how you doing, girl? You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And I'm like, hey, hug, 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 hug. Her mother, a little bit more reserved. She was checking me out like I was a new science project. She was truly checking me out. And again, I have that same personality. I've never met a stranger, so I'm ready. Hey, how are you, girl? You're looking good in electric blue. You know what I mean? Who does your hair? So I'm already on. I'm already too much for her. I know that. But again, I didn't. After the initial fright, she saw that I was just a normal person. I think what they really walked away with was the fact that their younger daughter not only married to a woman, but married to a very nice person. They saw the love between me and Rosa. They couldn't fight that. They could not fight that. They saw, and the highest one. They saw us, and I think they got it. They kind of got it. Like, well, whoever she is, my daughter's very happy with this woman. Yeah. So you can't, there's no argument for happiness. Yeah. And I believe your sister gave me that. Your older sister, Pam, who's a wonderful human being, she told me she said, I've never seen my sister this happy. I can make no case against happiness. What a wonderful thing to say. Yeah. So look, I think we kind of ducked a bullet with that one, in the sense that, not that I expected it to be wrong or negative or anything like that. It's just that one thing is to know that your daughter is gay and that she's living in California and that she married a woman. It's different when we're in your face at the table and they're actually seeing us interact. And when it was time to go, they both hugged me. And I felt kind of good all over.
Yeah.
Good all over. Now, fast forward. Rosa says she has two sets of parents. So her bio dad, I get to meet him and his wife. It was different. I think it was okay. And though he had not come to our wedding, or at least to our reception, and that was okay too, because I give people so many waivers. So, because I said, I know this is a lot for him to take in.
Well, neither set of my parents came to our reception, so.
Yeah, let me say that. Yeah, for whatever reasons. Okay, so again, I give them waivers because sometimes you got to give people the truth in bite-size nuggets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. So I'm just thinking like, okay, you didn't come to the wedding, the reception, okay.
But I think, again, that they weren't ready for that whole aspect of it. I mean, that was when we were getting married, and then we got, we had our reception like a whole year later. And yeah, I think they just wasn't ready for, oh my goodness, she's marrying a woman thing.
Look. Well,
So
oh, I'm sorry, and an older woman at that. Okay, so
so I think a lot of that had to do with it, and I just think really they probably wasn't ready to meet Sharon at that point. Time had gone by, and we're married and been happily married for a year or two by the time she even met any of them. So I think with my parents when we went to DC, um, they were welcoming to Sharon, but I think it was, I love my daughter. I'm gonna love like whoever she's with at this point, or I rather just not have that relationship with my daughter, and they chose the first. So I think it was they wanted the relationship, they wanted to accept who I loved at that point, because love is love,
absolutely.
and we were at a happy occasion. My brother's getting married, so what is not happy about that? So I think all of that played a lot into it. When we say meeting her parents when no one wants to meet you, the dynamics could be different because I think if we weren't married and I bought Sharon, it would have probably been a little different.
You think so?
Yeah, and I just think, or the fact that it depends on who is in their circle. Are they ready to let their friends and family know, other family
Right,
know,
right.
so it's like, yeah, Rose is gay, but we don't talk about that,
Right, right.
and so it could be in that situation too. So everybody's situation is different, and I also think Sharon and I are older. We're at an age in our lives where we're not depending on anybody,
Right, right.
but us to do anything. So I think it's easier for us to do whatever we want to do. If we were younger and was still
Dependent upon mom and dad,
Yeah,
or if they
yeah.
paying your rent, they think they can also tell you how to
Exactly.
live your life.
And if you feel like you need them, you don't want to, put all that on them just yet. So I get that, and that's probably when you don't really want to introduce that spouse or your partner or whomever you call them.
And I hear what you're saying, Rosa, and all that is true, and that's real for a lot of people out there. But see, I put the spotlight right back on them. I have met every little raggedy Ann that my brother had, or whatever little piece of a man my sister dating that time. I make no, I'm just saying. I hope you're happy. Hope everything works out. So why can't you afford us to like with Sharon as long as you're happy? The difference with Rosa and I've been gay all my life. So, but I've never called home and said, "Hey, I'm a married woman now." So, they
Well, this is your first marriage, first of all,
yeah,
but
exactly.
but also,
One of one.
yeah,
Only one of one.
I am one of two. So no, another story, but I did get a chance to meet Sharon's family. Her mom is no longer with us here on Earth, but yeah, her family was welcoming to me as well. I think they were just excited that Sharon came home.
Look,
So they didn't care who. She could have came home with Lassie the dog, and they'd have been hugging up on the dog.
wait a minute.
But
I have been gone for over 40 years.
Yeah.
It's biblical. I have not been back to Philadelphia.
yeah, so I think they were more excited about just seeing their sister in Philadelphia, and so I got a chance to meet her friends and family, and it was really, really good.
It was
We had a
nice.
good time.
Yeah.
I didn't even feel like I wasn't welcome in any sense.
I
of
think
the
some of
word.
them were curious, because they just know that Sharon, she done married some young sweet thing in California, and
But I think that's why they wanted to meet me, because Sharon, like, when I say she's dramatic, when she explains stuff to people, it's over the top. So they're probably like, well, who is this
Rosa.
Diana Ross coming through the door, And I come down the stairs looking nothing like, So I think it's just, they were excited about that. They just wanted to see who Sharon was bragging about all the time.
yeah,
And so,
my Rosa.
and everybody was good. It was a really good
Yeah.
a good thing
Yeah, the
for.
food was great. Everyone was well behaved, and,
Yeah.
and it was. We only stayed for 3 days too.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, it was good for three.
here's the trick: when you go see your family, don't stay too long
Get
because
in and get out.
exactly because it all rubs off on the top of the third day. Staying back on the subject line, your partner, other than your partner, your wife, your loved one, and having children of your own, your parents is probably one of the closest relationships that you have.
Yes.
So it makes sense that they're very, very important to you, and you care how they feel.
Yes.
And they care how you feel. But then here comes what flies in is like, oh my God, my child is gay. Oh, she's actively gay. Oh, she's wearing rainbows everywhere. And now that is not her roommate. That is her partner, her lover. And now she wants to bring them home to the family reunion. And don't we hate when we get introduced as the roommate? It's like
Yeah.
you don't need a roommate when you're 55 years old. Cut it out. That's your sweetheart.
Yeah.
Again, every relationship is different, and even if everything is okay on your side, with you and your partner, and her family. What about your partner's family? So here it is. She's bringing you to Atlanta. She's bringing you to Colorado, wherever and you got to meet my family.
Yeah.
And oftentimes that's just probably not the best idea. Not because you don't love her and she loves you, it's because the family has so much input and power and
Yes.
influence on the person. It could put a wrinkle in your relationship because who doesn't want to be accepted? We know you're loved by your family, but who doesn't want to be accepted? And you bring Gloria home, and everybody ain't nobody ready for Gloria. Look, who her?
Yeah. Right. Ha. No. But yeah, and just to give a little insight on what Sharon is saying. Even if it's not on your end, when you're going home to your partner, and it's not that the parents don't want to meet you, because most of the time they've met you. You've been there before, you've been in their presence, but you've just been introduced as something else, whether it's the
Right.
roommate,
A co-worker.
college friend, whatever the it is they don't want to meet you in a sense of now you are with their daughter. And that is a whole different feeling for I think most of parents or something. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm okay meeting her as her friend, or and it's all the naming. So if you name her as your partner, then it becomes different than you naming her
Yeah.
as your friend.
Absolutely. And let me say, this is a good time to introduce this. If some of you are out there, if you're not all the way out, how do you expect people to accept you when you haven't even been honest with them? Everyone has the idea, like, oh, we think she likes women. Oh, I never seen him with a man, and she never had children, and she's always going on these trips, to San Diego or wherever. So you need to be honest with yourself. I'm not saying the world's got to know everything about all your business, but if you're not out and comfortable in the skin that you're in, how can you expect your family to be so very, very embracing of that as well? You're not comfortable with you, but you want the world to be comfortable with you. I would say that I probably force fed my family this since I was in fifth grade. I knew I liked girls. Then I got older. I just like older girls.
Yeah.
But I've been very, very out with my family. Doesn't mean that they liked it. Doesn't mean that they were okay. And they surely wasn't shouting it at on the rooftop. Oh, Sharon's gay, and we're glad about it. No, but I had to stand on my own principles. It's like everyone else got to be who they are. And so I didn't understand what the big deal was. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm a Gemini. I got a great personality, and I'm gay. Oh, where did I lose you? And I'm gay. And so I think I think that we're not trying to encapsulate this and make this so very, very easy. It's not just them accepting her, meeting her when nobody really wants to meet her, or they rather not see it in their face. I'm looking at you. How honest are you with who you are? Because once you accept your truth and you live by your truth, it's very easy for others to line up behind it.
Yes.
It's simple as that. So if you're lying to yourself and your relative, well, it just becomes ill-fed, and it's just not the best situation. So there's some questions you have to ask yourself. Um, back to a little bit piece of my story. Yes, I'm retired military, and I had two other careers other than that, and so I'm really retired now. Because of the way things were in the military, I joined the military in 1973. And if you're doing the calculations, Rosa was only 1 years old. But anyhow, I joined the military in 1973 and did a wonderful career. It was because things weren't all the way weren't always the way they are now with all this freedom, and we were marching, and I know the world's not a perfect place, but it surely is better than what I remember 30 and 40 years ago. But with Rosa, I had never marched in a gay parade. Here it is, like I said, I've been gay for 50 years. I had never marched. I've been to the parades with a hat on and a pair of sunglasses, hoping no one saw me and recognized me.
Right.
Like, aren't you the woman that works at, that kind of thing. But it was so wonderful. And here it is, my young, lovely partner here, who has she's living in a time where she does not know what it felt like to be the object of a witch hunt and people trying to ruin your careers and fire you just on the idea that you may be homosexual.
Well, I don't know it in that aspect, but
No,
I
you
know
don't.
it as a black woman being on a witch hunt. But that's a whole nother subject too.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I, for me, when I was coming out, and this is not a coming out story because that's a whole nother episode. But when I was coming out, I just wanted to immerse myself in the life and understand exactly wholeheartedly what I was getting into. And so it was part of, going to these groups and, meeting these people and marching in the parade. And I love every minute of it. So,
She does.
So when I signed me up for the parade, I signed her up for the parade too. So my kids march too.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
just all have a good time when Pride comes around.
We
and
do.
Just,
It's exciting and it's
yeah.
fun, and and it's just, and we're in San Diego, which is one of the largest parades in the United
Yeah,
States. So
yeah.
so it was just wonderful times five. That was not my experience. Coming up and coming out and trying to maintain my career in the military, more or less the federal government, not to mention other programs and stuff. So when I'm with Rosa, it's like I'm reinventing myself, and I'm gay times five, because I'm seeing it with new eyes and such wonderful freedoms that we have now. And but anyway, again, let me stay online here. One of the points we really wanted to share with you is just being how sometimes the world responds to as real and authentic and as real as you are. You can't expect the truth from people when you're not being truthful with them. More or less being truthful with yourself. There's a couple of things we would ask that you think about until next week. Is just the conversations you might want to have when it's time to bring your lovely little lamb chop. That's what I call it, my lamb chop. When you want to bring your lamb chop home and introduce her to your family, some conversations should be had. One of the things we would ask that you walk away with or just think about in the upcoming days is, if you're not totally honest with yourself and who you are, and you expect truth from other people, that's kind of difficult when you're not even proclaiming your own truth. So when it is time for you to introduce your lamb chop, your sweetie pie, to your family, you conversations should have been held before that moment comes, because you don't want it to be a negative experience. And we're not suggesting that everyone out there is, undercover or things like that it has to be a horrible experience. Some lesbians have a wonderful relationship, not just with their partners, but with their families. They go on vacation together. Everyone's welcome to the family reunion. They embrace her and her family, and that's so wonderful. in the land of Oz. It is really wonderful. But if that's not the way you're living and that's not the way your relationship has developed, you need to, like I say, have the conversation first. We're traveling to Baltimore. It's going to be a family reunion. I'm not out with that side of my family, so let's not sit together. Don't be holding my hands. Don't be kissing me, or whatever the its are. And as I said before, our relationship, your primal relationship, of course, is with your wife, your partner, your sweetheart. That's wonderful. But we don't live, in a bubble. We don't. Your relationship changes or is influenced by how do you
So when
treat
we're talking about, meeting her parents and how, Sharyn told you her story of meeting my parents and how I met her family and how it was just a wonderful experience. But sometimes that's not the case in everybody's life. So, that's kind of how we came up with the little catchy title, Meeting Her Parents, when no one wants to meet you, because sometimes that is the case.
Right,
Just
right.
fortunate enough for us, it just was not the case. So definitely, I understand a lot of the different
Scenario?
dynamics, different dynamics that may come with, different parents kind of attitude towards your relationship. And like Sharyn was saying before, her siblings relationship, no one questioned that. Everybody had to question hers. When your siblings might be dating somebody who beat them up, or dating somebody who steals all the time, or dating somebody who just lies. I mean, and that happens in every family. Everybody seems to accept them, okay with meeting that particular spouse, but you're gay, you're coming home with your woman, and no one wants to meet her
Right.
because just that
Yeah.
she's your spouse.
Right.
And that's the sad part of it. And that's the sad part of it. So
Right. But again, every relationship is different. And as we shared with you part of our story, there's a million different stories out there.
Yeah.
But if you fall on that continuum where there may be some wrinkles or some problem, some friction, just the fact that not just that you're gay, but too that you're going to bring your partner home, sometimes it's not as well received as it could be. A couple of tips, so just things that you would think about. Like I said, I do strongly, as Rosa does, conversations have to be held, because, like, hey, I am bringing her home. Or you may choose not to come home because I'm not going to allow you to treat my spouse any other way other than kind and respectful.
absolutely.
And I think that's not too much to ask of the people that's in our life. As we had to treat our brothers-in-laws and sister-in-laws, treat them with the utmost respect, because because you're married to my sister, because you're married to my brother. We ask for the same thing.
Yes.
Several things that we've pointed out in the last half an hour is that you have to be honest with your own truth. And if the more honest you are, when you're honest, you give other people permission to be honest as well.
Absolutely.
And so keep that in mind. We're at different places in our relationship. If you're just dating her and you don't really even know her middle name, and it was only a quick hit, do not take this person home.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but if you guys are at that time in your life when, like, hey, I really want you to meet my family. I want them to know who I'm in love with and who's loving me. If all lights are green, go forward with that.
Yes.
And as you all are listening to this, like I said, every relationship is different. Some parents have told their children, if you gay, don't come back home.
Yeah.
Now that's harsh, but it's real. So if you've been disinvited to come home, I don't suggest you bring Gloria.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
To the birthday party, to the funeral, to the to the whatever special occasion is. It just it doesn't lead to the best results.
Absolutely.
We can say that. So
absolutely. But we definitely want to know your thoughts about meeting parents, period, or how your experience was, if that's your case, or anything similar to that.
Yeah, your auntie, your grandma, the other people who raised you, or your favorite teacher, whoever they are to you. So I think we're about ready to wrap up because I think that's enough for us to chew on for a week or so.
Yeah.
It really is. And like I said, we're not suggesting that everyone has a negative experience, but if you do have positive relationships and wonderful synergy with your family and all that, and God bless you and go for it, but sometimes it's just, even with the best intentions, it's not as wonderful as it could be.
I'm definitely ready to wrap up to get from outside because Sharyn loves filming outside. I just
Oh,
don't. It's too many
yeah.
bugs, too much stuff going on.
Hey.
It's too distracting. But we're going to bring it to you guys from wherever we are. How about that?
Absolutely. So until next time, we're wishing all of you the very best.
Of all good things, stay safe and stay woke. Thank you.